Okay, it's time for more inappropriately clad linguistics. I'm not only inappropriately clad, I'm also inappropriately sweaty because I was just out for a run, which turned into a walk because it's too feckin' hot. Anyway, what I want to talk about today is the way I just said the word hot, because I mentioned it briefly last time and someone messaged me going, I can't hear the difference. So let's see if this helps. Like I said last video, sometimes it's hard to say t, okay? Normally when you say t, what you're doing is you are putting the blade of your tongue, that's the top of the tongue at the very front, up against the alveolar ridge, that's that little hard ridge at the roof of your mouth behind your front teeth, and you're blocking the air completely, t, and then releasing it with that to make that t sound. You're not using your vocal cords. If you were using your vocal cords, it would be d. You make them the same way. One is voiced, that's the D sound. One is not, that's the T sound. So there's a couple of ways that different accents deal with having a T sound in a way that's hard to pronounce in a tricky position. Like I said last time, Americans turn it into more of a D, and my own accent in many positions, I also turn it into more of a D. We'll say better, butter, batter, little flick of it up the top of our mouths. If we're speaking fast, it might be a really fast in a way that some accents would actually pronounce an R in that way. So if you think about how you could say really with that little tapped R at the start of the word real, but you can also do that little tap in the middle of the word butter. Or if you wanted to say I edited it, I edited it, I edited it, you've got I did it, you're just tapping your tongue. It's called a tap off the alveolar ridge there. That obviously was I edited it. So a lot of people in Ireland will instead weaken that T in such a way that it makes a sound that sounds a little bit like an SH. That it's like a whistling almost. Your tongue, the blade of your tongue does not, in fact, stop the air. It doesn't actually contact the alveolar ridge completely. It just narrows that there, narrows it down a lot, and makes what's known as a fricative, this friction. You see what they did there when they named that? The airflow is so narrowed that it makes a sound as the air flows through it. That, this, and this, so that is the sound that you make there. It sounds a little bit like an SH, but you don't make it the exact same way you make an SH. So you should be able to hear the difference between flat with a t, a crisp cut off t, and flat. You can sustain that sound. That's your weakened T. And then there's the other one, which is a bit of a cross between the two. If you ever heard someone in Dublin in a chipper, they might order a Bathar burger. Bathar there. It's a t, it's held and then released, but it's more like a kind of an attempt at a TH. It's another way to do that. It is a stop, but it's not a t stop with the blade of the tongue and the alveolar ridge. It is in fact a dental stop, the tongue against the teeth. Bathar burger. So that is ways of pronouncing the letter T in awkward positions. You either voice it, turn it into a D sound, which can, when spoken fast, be a tap. I edited it, is fun to say. Or if you're Irish, or indeed in some other accents, they'll do this in certain positions. It's just particularly prominent in a lot of Irish accents, especially around Dublin. You can just sort of whistle it. Shh. Be grand. They'll know what you mean. Won't worry about it. Again, no swear words. Actually, we can do this with a swear word just to keep with the theme. And obviously that is the word shit. Or shite. Shite. Hear it right there, that long sh at the end instead of a shite with a crisp t. Okay, I'm going to go have a shower because I'm really fucking sweaty.